Hey folks, Dr. Groovy, Scott Grove, GroovyMusicLessons.com, here today to help all you experienced people and inexperienced people on this whole guitar thing about different scale lengths, about roller bridges and roller nuts, and which string gauges are best for which scale length, and what all this means. Should you do top wrapping on your tailpiece, and what the heck am I talking about? I'm going to run through all of this in as little time as humanly possible. Okay, three basic guitars. You can look up your own scale length, but Fender guitars are generally the longest scale length at 25.5 inches. Okay, what that means is a Fender guitar, whether it looks like it or not, it's 25.5 inches scale length, whether it be a Strat or a beautiful Telly. Look at that puppy, Merle Haggard Telly. I'm going to use 9 and 10 gauge sets of strings as examples to this whole thing. So I use 9s on everything, 9 gauge, but they feel different on different scale lengths of guitars. So when I put 9 gauges on Fender guitars, they feel stiffer than any other guitar. So it's harder to bend it and so forth. Okay? It's just the way it is. So the longer the scale length, the tighter you have to make the string actually in order to be in tune. So you get a shorter guitar like a Gibson, which is 24.75 inch scale length, like this Les Paul. You put a set of 9s on there, and it feels like nothing. I mean, it feels like they're about ready to fall off. So you could put a set of 10s on a Gibson, and it's going to feel like a set of 9s on a Fender. Okay? So, a Gibson guitar with 9 gauge strings will be the slinkiest feeling, or the easiest to bend, you know, that type of thing. And right in the middle is going to be Paul Reed Smith with 25 inches. Okay? So they just kind of split the difference. So it's just kind of a comfortable medium between people who play Gibsons or Fenders. It's just, you know, dang near in the middle. So think of that when you're looking up what your scale length is. So the longer the guitar scale length, the harder it's going to be to actually play it, you know, with your gauge of strings. Of course, you can always, you know, put heavier strings on a shorter scale guitar and make it feel nice and comfy, or you can put lighter strings on a long scale guitar to make it feel easier to play. So if you're playing a Fender and it's really tough to play, just go down a gauge set of strings or so, because the strings will feel very different. 9 gauge set from here to a Gibson are going to feel very different. The Gibson's going to be a lot easier to play. Okay? Now, this can change very easily. And there are aftermarket parts to do this. If you want to strictly use 9 gauge strings on Fenders, but you want them to feel like they do on a Gibson, nice and slinky, and you want to use 9s, now this is honest to God's truth. No time to argue with you, because I want to make the point and go along. All this through the body stuff, where the strings go through the body, okay, honest to God, that does nothing for you. It does not give you more sustain. It does nothing. It actually does just the opposite. Okay? Yes, it's the truth. Same thing with, you know, neck through and all that stuff. Less sustain. I know, you've been taught different, and it's wrong. Anyway, if you have a Fender, and you can have an option to change the bridge and run the strings straight through here instead of through the back, that will almost make it feel like you put 8 gauge set on here. It will just totally change the way your guitar feels. Okay? So if you don't run through the body, okay, that's causing tons and tons and tons of pressure right here. It's going up and then coming over here. That puts a lot of stress on there, and that makes it harder to play. Same thing with Gibsons. They have this bridge. Look at this. Okay? That's horrible. It's going up at this angle, it's hitting the back of the bridge, and then it hits the saddle, so it's actually hitting there, which is not good. What should you do? You should actually raise this up so that it's not hitting the back of this whole thing. Okay, the more you raise this up, the easier this guitar is going to be to play. That's why they have places to raise them up. Most people keep them down thinking they're going to get more sustain if that's on the guitar. No, that is false also. Same thing with the headstock being bent back like that. That causes it to be even stiffer to play. Okay, where there's a company called Reverend came out, same thing. Now look, you got that type of headstock still, but they got rid of that tilt back thing. Now it plays so much easier than the Gibson. Okay, and I put on all of these type things, like on Gibsons and so forth, these Wilkinson roller bridges. They're $14.95. Okay, look, there's no, I don't have a tailpiece as normal on here, but there's like hardly any bending going on before it goes over there, just enough to make contact on them rollers. I'm not going to break strings on some pointy things. They're going to roll across there just fine, and this is going to play, it's going to make it feel like it's a gauge or two lighter of strings on here. So if you can get roller bridges, put them on your guitars. Wilkinson, $14.95. All day long, eBay. Throw them on all your guitars. Anytime you can. And again, the less of a break angle you have, or like I showed you on the Les Paul where it's a lot, then the better it is. People will do what is called, they do a string wrap over top of the bridge. Okay, it's like on this Paul Reed Smith here, it's just all in one, but you can see how it actually, the strings get fed through the tailpiece slash bridge, which is all one piece, and then it comes over the top. Okay, and then in most cases, then the bridge would be like about here. Okay, so like on a Les Paul, people do that, and yes, it does change how stiff your how it feels, how slinky it is. So people will run the strings through here, then over top, they call it top wrapping, and they'll go over top of this, so the strings are laying across here, so there is not as much of a break angle here, and it just goes real short, like I already have the Reverend. But thing is, again, remember, these adjust, so just raise it. That's why it's there, to make it easy to play. Raise this. It does not change your sustain. Okay? It's not against the body anyway. It's off the guitar. It makes no difference in your sustain. Raise it. Okay? By top wrapping, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to put a bunch of marks on the top of that tailpiece. Okay? So that's what happens. Okay? But there are other people who say that they're heroes. They only top wrap a couple strings. They'll leave the low ones the way they are, but then they'll take the G, the B, and the E, or some of them and not the others, but then top wrap those over the top and make those ones that you bend a lot easier to play. Now, does that actually happen? Yeah. If you top wrap it, it's going, actually this here is stuck underneath a fret. Bad. Gibson custom shop. Horrible, horrible. Yeah, my strings were caught underneath raised frets sticking out of here. But that's what it is. But again, if you want to do that and you want to make the skinny strings looser feeling to play, but keep the other ones tight on the bottom, raise the treble side. I mean, that can go up and this can stay down. That's why it's adjustable. Okay, people don't tell you these things. Okay, and again, here's another thing. Let me see why I got the other guitars out. Here we go. One of my custom-made guitars. String trees and all that at the top of them. That creates more problems and more things. Here is a LSR. This fits all kinds of things, fenders and other things, but this here's on a wacky guitar I had made that actually has 5 pickups in it. 3 single coils and 2 humbuckers, on and off switches for each of them. Amazing little bridge there. But anyway, rollers. I mean, no friction is no friction. So everything goes straight to the tuners like they should. And these are called compensated tuners. Okay? The height, look at that. By the time you get to the high E, there's like hardly anything there as far as a post. So there's no such thing as string trees on here because there doesn't have to be. See the break angle here? Hardly any. Just enough to make contact. And that's all you need. It's not going to buzz and fart on you. It's perfect. And trust me, when I have guitars made, they are flipping perfect. Every possible last detail to get rid of every bit of binding is thought of. So everything's going to have roller bridges, roller nuts, and height compensated locking tuners. Okay, even with the Paul Reed Smith. Again, if we wanted to make this one play easier, how could we do it? God, everything's pretty well good. It's got a perfectly good graphite nut, which is the next best thing to a roller. But the most important thing is that the strings pass right through there and go right to the tuners. So you're not going to have binding here unless your nut is cut wrong, which is very rare with Paul Reed Smith. Everything's done very well, so it's hard to have anything done badly. Even on their cheaper ones, the ones from Korea. Right there. Right to the tuners. Exactly how they should, and nothing can go wrong with this. That's the most in-tune sounding guitars around. And I do have a few new of these laying around that have never ever been played or taken out of the package. But this is a bad design. They go through the here and then they curve off to the side just like acoustic guitars. They get caught, bound in there, blah blah blah. I know it's been around since 1952, but things need to change. But then again, you have what you have and you use it because you use it. I'm not here to put everything down. I'm trying to make you get the best out of what you have. So instead of top wrapping to make it looser feeling, if you want it, just raise this, okay? And I know you think it's supposed to be down there, but that's why it's adjustable. It would not be adjustable if it was supposed to be down there. So learn to raise that puppy up, okay? So again, it can be like this. This is what Gibson should be. It should be like that. I mean, there's no break angle and it is perfect. It doesn't change the sustain. Doesn't change anything. This is not good though, that it still does the boing this way and boing that way to the tuners. So it could possibly still catch here. And it could, even though that's a graphite type of material, that could use a roller nut. But we do have the roller saddles. Everybody keeps asking about these and who makes them. Again, at the back side of them, nothing will ever hit that. Even if you had the regular stop bar tailpiece at the bottom of this, it will not hit this because it's all cut away so that it will not do it like a Gibson does. It will, as you can see, it will go right past all that junk. On both sides are cut the same. And it just goes over a perfectly smooth roller. And no, you do not need to be using whammies to have rollers. It's there to eliminate friction, period. Not just to ease it up a little bit. It eliminates all your friction. And there is no big, steep grade up and then going over like this. So this is 10 times better than the way the Les Paul is currently set up. I could set the Les Paul up to be as good as this, but it's just not set up that way. It's still set up from the factory. Okay, so again, that's about it. Again, if you can change your bridges on your tellies, or if you have a hardtail Strat, and you can get them so they're what called top loaded, and they just string through here and go through, that's like you are going to add sustain, and your guitar is going to be much, much slinkier, easier to play. If you have 9s on it, they're going to feel like 8s or 7s. It's crazy how much difference it makes. Fender guitars. all day long you can put those LSR rollers on it for the nut, or you can do this thing. That's the Wilkinson roller nut, okay, on the strap from Custom Shop 92. So they're available everywhere, and then you can actually run the stuff through the strap things. And they do make replacement Fender saddles that have rollers on them. So you can take all those out and put the roller saddles in. They make them, they're all over the place, all over eBay, all over everywhere. They've got a nice little wheel in there, and take these and put them away for when you sell the guitar, but in the meantime use the rollers. Man, tell you what, it keeps this whole thing in tune a lot better. And yes, they even make things here for those. They'll have a roller bridge for these, and you can top load them, and it does not have to go through right back here. It doesn't have to go through the block, but it'll still whammy, and it stays in tune a lot better. So again, those are a lot of different things to help you out. Even though, real quick, even though it's got the roller here, okay, just like my custom made guitar, yes, again, height compensated tuners. Again, no need for string trees on any of my guitars. I don't allow it. And locking tuners. Okay, so hopefully that takes some of the mystery away from some of this stuff. Once again, the Fender ones are going to play the hardest with a set of 9s on them. Gibsons are going to play the easiest, and they're going to play a lot easier if you raise that tailpiece up in the back. Just raise it up and you'll be going, holy cow. Then you can put 11s on there. If you want the tones of big fat strings, put a set of 10s or 11s or 12s on there and raise that tailpiece up to where you'll hear it right when it starts to, buzz a little bit. Then bring it right back down just a little bit and leave it there. You will freak out how much better it sounds, how much better it plays, and how light a set of 13 gauge strings can feel on a guitar. Okay, try to put 13s on a Fender, boy, that's tough. Again, Stevie Ray did it, but he tuned down to E flat, which is why he did it. Okay, so that's basically it. Again, remember those different scale lengths and what things you can do to make them better. And again, that strings through the body are actually detrimental to your performance. Again, if you go through this way, top load, it's better for sustain, and it's better for a slinkier feel. If you want it to play heavier, then put heavier strings on it and still run it through here, so you still get better sustain. That's just a bad idea. And Fender changed it later after he went and did the whole G&L thing, and then they changed it again after he died, but so be it. So there's lots of tricks, and that's a whole bunch of them for you. And again, for everybody that wanted to know about the really cool Wilkinson roller bridges. And again, for all you Fender guys, for all of these Strat and Tele bridges, you can replace each saddle and just buy a set of 6 saddles that have rollers already built in them, ready for your guitar. Drop them in. It's amazing. And again, top load anything you can, and again, do as little of an angle back here as possible. Raise that thing up. Don't go over the top of it and damage the finish on your instrument. No need to damage anything just because so and so does it. Again, it's adjustable for a reason, so you can adjust it. Okay, so do that. Okay, once again, Scott Grove, GroovyMusicLessons.com, and come see me, get a bunch of free lessons, and every single guitar thing I've ever done, as far as a review and so forth, it's all on there. Everything I've ever put on YouTube, it's on my site too. Every, again, review, if you want to see nothing but Fender reviews, they're all together. Every Gibson reviews together, every Ibanez reviews together. You don't have to go hunting. And again, here on the YouTube channel, all my free lessons, they are on playlists now, so you can just go to the playlists and learn just country, or just acoustic stuff, or just rock and blues, or just bass, or just whatever. So the playlists are set up. You guys be groovy, and catch you soon, and maximize your guitar. Think it out now. You have the truth behind all the different scales and everything that can be done to make them play the way you want. Okay, so if you want them to play harder, you know now what makes them easier, so do the opposite to make it play stiffer. Okay? I did not say Stifler or Stifler's mom. American Pie. I just saw that on TV. Got it in my head. Take care, guys. Bye.